Hey guys, welcome back to Train Sim World Journeys, episode 4, 5, I don't know, I've lost count. Last week we coupled up to some cars, we had to calibrate the rail driver, and that ate a little bit of time. And we got 928 yards to shove these cars that we coupled down to last episode. Let me know in the comments if these short little 10, 15 minute long little chunks of doing some operations, some journeys stuff, if you want longer or shorter. I figured 15 minutes is a good amount of time to just quickly watch, easier to watch than a 2 hour long episode, or 2 hour long live stream, you know what I mean? And a lot of my live streaming that I do in other games, I post on my YouTube channel, after the fact, for the people who want to watch long format stuff. But I thought, let me do little short 15-minute ones and see if those maybe get a little more traction. I'm doing this. I'm doing this in cab, sitting in the seat, just because it's what I find more comfortable. I actually don't. Oh, hey, look! It's actually letting me go to the last car. I wasn't only doing that earlier. I actually don't like playing playing train simulators in third-person view like this. But well, let's take me out of my comfort zone. I mean, I'm already out of my comfort zone playing Train Sim World, which, in the little bit of time that I've played it, there's definitely a lot of things that I really do like about it, but there's just so much more that I don't like about it. We're doing some flat switching in the bowl yard, which is very unprototypical. We're not realistically be doing this kind of switching in this yard. You would be going back and forth and pulling cars out of the yard, and you may be pulling 2 or 3 tracks at a time. So you maybe pull, track 101, and then couple all the cars on track 102, and then all the cars on track 103, only because all those cars are going to the same destination. But you realistically wouldn't be doing flat switching like I'm doing here in a hump yard like this. But it is what it is. It makes for fun gameplay for people who maybe aren't as familiar with realistic railroad operations. And so the scripted scenario gameplay like this of Train Sim World really does open it up and make it a little more accessible to your average game player. But it really is, as someone who has been a member of the OPSIG, Operation Special Interest Group, who subscribes to that kind of mentality, I kind of find it a little about this. All right, we got uncoupled from 4 vehicles. Let's go back into cab view. We've done a 3-point already. As you can see, train brake is applied, independent brake is applied, reverser is neutral, throttle is idle. Go ahead and get up. Why you're not doing this, I don't know. Why you here? You're not getting paid to just sit there. Whatever. Climb down the steps. And I could jog. I could, hit shift, but I'm lazy. We're just gonna walk like normal. I want to make this as immersive to myself as possible. And so really playing in like third-person view and running all the time. And I had to sneeze there. And kind of, oh look, there's a coal train rolling through. Neat. It's nice to see it is nice to see other traffic. Other trains rolling along do really kind of fill the world up with a little more, make the world feel a little more lively. We've already applied the train brake, but let's just go ahead and apply the handbrake on one train car. I don't like that I can't close that angle cock. Like, I should be able to close that valve. This valve right here prevents air from the rest of the train or allows air to flow from this train car's reservoir tank, which you can see right there, into this train car's brake system, which is where our tank is down there at the other end. I should be able to close that one and leave this open, and then when I pull away, it'll dump all the air out of these cars and basically put the cars into emergency. So they won't roll. That little jump the cars make when they no longer have to be physics. I do love the texture and a little bit of reflections. Like, some of the paint is faded, but some of it's still got that clear enamel shine to it. That's really nice. And then the reflectors, the fact that that actually is reflecting stuff. Like, let's see. I just saw it for a second. Like, you can see the CSX logo with another car. No, I don't want to give up control. I'm still doing this job. Game God. Like, you can see the reflection of the other cars in this reflective tape, which is really, it's a really nice little touch. But you used to be able to open the doors, and now you can't. I guess that animation was too hard for them to do. It was hurting. It was slowing the game down to have the doors be animated, so they took away the animation. Yes, that's me making fun of the fact that Dovetail Games said that the animation cycle for the crossing gates going up and down was too difficult, and they just removed it. It was easier to remove it than it was to fix it. Alright, we got to reverse down to that stop point. Again, you can hear that lever over my own train horn. Which is just... So one of the things would be nice, right? So this chair, in the real world, why are my brakes in initial reduction? It should be at release. This chair in the real world swivels. In fact, you can actually kind of... You can see it's on a rotating post right there. If I was in VR, I could totally just take my whole computer chair that I'm sitting in now and just spin it around backwards. This is something I actually did a couple of times during the playtest for Steel Crew, which I've got more videos in the pipeline for that. In the playtest for Steel Crew, at one point I was in the commander's seat and I had to look behind the tank to help guide the driver in reverse. And of course I'm in VR, so I just take my whole chair and just spin it around and I'm watching backwards. And I was like, in the moment it was like a really intense combat, and then afterwards I turned back around and I looked at my gunner and I said, Gunner, that was really cool. I do have some more video from the Steel Crew playtest that I'm going to be putting out here eventually. I just got to get around to finish editing it. And then we'll I'll put that out. But unfortunately the playtest is over and you really can't play the game anymore. Or so you think. I don't know, I have something I'm working on with it, so. Nope, there's my camera going wherever it wants to go. Neutral reverser. One of the things that's also really nice about the rail driver and using rail driver in most train simulators is you can often click off of the game and still retain full control of your trains. Like I had just clicked off and was scrolling through something on Discord for half a moment. I don't think I'm far enough. I'm not. It's like I'm stopping just a hair too early. Alright, so now they want us to pull 865 yards forward. Now this is something I don't understand. Here's the back of the train. The passed 1, 2, 3, 4 switches. I should have only had to stop at this switch to throw this one here to go down this other track. That's all I realistically had to do. I didn't need to back up 700 yards. But whatever. It is what it is. We'll shove these cars down and get ready for our next task. I gotta grab a tissue though, so I'll be back in half a second. Because I'm recording like all of these back to back, I sneezed a few minutes ago and it's just like my nose has been stuck full of snot. And it's like, and it was finally starting to get uncomfortable dripping. I'm gonna go blow my nose real quick. One of the nice things about doing train simming is I can just put the throttle at notch 1 and walk away for half a second. I got a bunch of tissue right there, so it's just like, yeah, right, cool. See the stop point? We got 400 yards to go. Well, over 400 yards left to go. Apply just a little bit of independent brake. And I just tap the headlight switch. It doesn't even actually flip, and it's like, you want to flip? I stopped at the location, but because I'm like a foot, I need to go like a foot more. They need me to uncouple from those 2 Run 8 box cars. Yep. So again, 3-point is set. Conductor's being lazy, so the engineer has to do all the work. Honestly, like, the 2 big improvements that I would love to see to Train Sim World are dynamic scenarios, right? Just get rid of the scripted scenarios. Allow like true proper free roam and multiplayer. So dynamic scenarios with true proper free roam and industry tags and all that good stuff. The same thing you see in we see in Run 8, and the kind of thing we see in trains with CMTMS. I'd love to see that, and then multiplayer. That would make this so much more fun, because then this would be more alive. It's one of the things I love about Run 8. Run 8 doesn't look as good as this, but the multiplayer in Run 8 and the fact that there's things to actually do, and they have meaning when you actually run a train, really makes Run 8 just feel more alive, have more meaning. Here, what I'm doing has no meaning. I have no direction. I had to mute the microphone there. Someone, one of my housemates came home, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna mute the mics that way, But yeah, it has more meaning, has more directions. It feels like I'm actually doing something worthwhile, and I don't really feel that with the Train Sim World. I mean, it looks good and it's fun, for the most part, or it's kind of fun. But it's like, at the end of the day, I didn't do anything. And, I mean, realistically, playing any train simulator, at the end of the day, you're not really doing anything. But with trains, even on my single player route, I'm using iPortals, and I can send my trains. I'm loading up coal hoppers and sending them to my friends. That's giving me something to actually like. It's giving me a tangible, or not a tangible, but a larger reward. I do a task, load cars with coal, give cars to friend. Friend now has something to do. He has a train to play with. Run 8. I sort a train in Barstow, and I AI a train from Barstow to Bakersfield, and now somebody else, another player, has something to do. Or, back to trains. I have a bunch of cars that have tags that tell me where they need to go. I deliver them to where they need to go, and then they get loaded, and it actually gives me... I can see the larger picture of what's going on, and there's just... That's super lacking here in Train Sim World, which really makes the game feel dead. And I know I said at the beginning of the series I really wasn't going to be ripping on Train Sim World too much, but I'm just... This is one of those things that every time I'm doing any driving here in it, I feel. And I can't shake that feeling. We're going to make the stop here, and that's going to be the end of this episode. It's a little longer than the previous ones, but... and then we'll finish up the tasks. We'll finish this one up in this next episode, or in the next episode. As always, do that thing, like, subscribe if you want. I'm asking, I'm not telling. Check the link in the description below. Friday nights, I stream Run 8. Wednesdays, I'll be streaming iRacing. Are we far enough back yet? No, we're not. And, in the incredibly unlikely event that we ever get multiplayer, I would definitely be playing multiplayer with this. At least once. That's going to be that for this episode. I'll catch you guys next week.